Well, good Thursday morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here, and let's wake up the football gods here on this thirsty Thursday. I hope everybody is doing good, and I'm still getting back into the swing of things. I have been on the road with going down to Texas, and then yesterday being down in the country where we're getting started on the red brick house. And next week is actually going to be a big week because this will be the first time we really are getting in deep with doing some work. We're ripping off the kitchen wall and the roof above it and starting to reframe that. We're going to get that section taken care of, nice and sturdy, and then we've got a base in which to work on the other work on the house as we go through and start leveling out the floors and starting to get this thing together. And I'm excited as can be. And if you want to see stuff on the red brick house, go to Joe Boo's Day Job, my other channel. That's where I'm putting in a lot of my woodworking tips and things like that. And if you have questions on, questions about repairs you need to do at your house, or what's good cabinets or tools and things like that, definitely leave me a comment in there, and I'll be sure to do a video or answer your comments and things in there. But as we sit here today, this is what I love now. This is where it starts to get to be fun, because if you look down here, we're at 77 days, 9 hours, 58 minutes, and 35 seconds away from kickoff of the 2022 season. It's coming fast. Usually I start the clock around about 130. I waited till just about 100. And to think that we've had 23 days already go by, a month ago almost, we started the clock, and that sucker is it's ticking down. We are less than 5 weeks away from training camp. You know, we talking about practice, not a game, we talking about practice. Now, for the Cowboys, they still have some more work to do. They have until July 15th to do something with Dalton Schultz's contract. Now, ESPN yesterday, of course, they're going through and thinking that the Cowboys will get the deal done for him, mainly because, a couple of reasons why. One, the connection between Dak and Dalton Schultz. It's incredible because between Dak and Dalton Schultz, every time Dak Prescott targeted Dalton Schultz, his QBR of 95, which is the best total QBR for any quarterback and receiver in the league in 2021. So when those two connect, you can definitely say that Dalton Schultz is a security blanket for Dak Prescott. Just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And as much as we believe and think about Amari Cooper, people don't realize that Dalton Schultz had almost the same amount of yardage as Amari Cooper in this offense. And if the Cowboys end up using more two tight end sets, you're going to be seeing him use more as a receiver. I like to think of maybe what the Cowboys may be is like the New England Patriots back in the day when they had Gronk as a younger man, as well as Aaron Hernandez, where basically their two tight ends were also their two big receivers, and they were able to run the football, able to control the clock, and use those guys as receivers. And I think the Cowboys are poised to be able to do that, especially with a Tony Pollard, who is kind of a gadget guy who can play in the slot. He can be a receiver. He can be a running back. He is that multi-tool Swiss Army knife type of a player. And I think we'll see this offense being more dynamic. And maybe, just maybe, Kellen Moore will actually earn that number 2 ranking he had of Pro Football Focus, of number 2 play caller in the NFL. So the thought is, when you look at what's been happening with tight ends right now, David Njoku got a 4-year, $56 million extension. So when you look at that, that's got to be basically where Dalton Schultz contract starts out, because Dalton Schultz literally has almost twice the yardage on each of the years of the last 2 years that David Njoku. And it may be advantageous for the Cowboys to get it done now than waiting another year, because what always happens with the Cowboys is they wait and they screw up contracts. The Cowboys are good at getting homegrown talent. Their problem is When they get tired of them, they make bad deals to get rid of them. You know, usually we let guys go without any compensation or anything, or we overpay and we end up having too much dead money. Finding the people has not been the problem. So we'll see where that goes. Interestingly enough, I always like to go through in the morning and get a clip of the talking heads. And right now, there's not a lot of new stuff that's going on because, you know, again, this is silly season. It's the calm before the storm before we start into training camp. I saw a clip that somebody had put out there, which truly was clickbait. It was about Lane Johnson saying that Jalen Hurts will have a better season. This is in the title. Lane Johnson tells Ryan Clark that Jalen Hurts will have a better season than Dak Prescott. Watch the whole video, 14 minutes of it. He never said anything about it. But what's interesting is that Lane Johnson will actually be in Dallas working at the Star with a Legends teaching thing. See, this is where, you know, we had my man Brian and we had Randy and Corey and everybody. We went to the Star and found out anybody can rent out the Star. All the bottom line is, do you have the money to? You can take the war room, you know, if you want to do a fantasy football draft. Hell, you can go to AT&T and you can rent out the whole stadium if you want to, if you have that kind of money. Because the bottom line with the Cowboys is, do you have the funds to pay for it? Because basically everything's for sale. So here it is. Lane Johnson is going to be working out in the Star with Legends and other players and stuff. Anthony Munoz is going to be there and so on. But I watched that video because I was like, oh, let me see if I can get that on tape. It never happened. It never happened. So it is truly clickbaiting time. But I did come across this one. And this clip is very interesting because this is NFL Total Access. And they're talking about battles that you want to see in the trenches more than anything else. And they talk about, well, I only watched the first couple, Zack Martin versus Jordan Davis. But before they got to that one, another one is kind of interesting, and I hadn't really thought about it. So this, I now have to circle this game, week 1, because of the battle.
Nobody better in the trenches than Aaron Donald in 2021, and really the last several seasons, Aaron Donald has been a nightmare in the trenches. A couple of guys who know very well what it means to play in the trenches. Brian Baldinger and Gerald McCoy back with us to break down which matchups in 2022 they're looking forward to in the trenches. And we're going to begin with a week 1 matchup that we're going to see between the Bengals and the Steelers. Which matchup you taking an eye on?
The matchup I want to see is the Defensive Player of the Year, T.J. Watt versus La'el Collins. La'el Collins, in his introductory press conference, he said, I text Joe Burrow and said, your new bodyguard is here.
You're going to find out. You're going to learn today.
Up last year. Yeah. That's a bold statement. And what better person to test it against than this guy, the Defensive Player of the Year? Hey, he going to have to stand on that, and we going to see. I'm excited to see.
Joe, I think that when the schedule came out, and I'm La'el Collins, I'm a free agent acquisition, lock me in at right tackle, be the bodyguard. When do we play the Steelers? Oh, week 1. I got this man right here.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, he's coming out of the blocks. Like, you think I tied the record last year? I'm going for the record this year.
Absolutely.
That's how TJ's thinking. He's got his work cut out. Also, we got a little Myles Garrett twice a year.
Hey, listen, he got his work cut out for him.
Bengals gave up 51 sacks. We've been talking about it all offseason, including 9.
That will be an interesting one to watch.
Against the Tennessee Titans. Yep. So La'el Collins will be tested early and often against those Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, next matchup to watch, another intra-division showdown. This time the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Dallas Cowboys. Another newcomer here, Jordan Davis, the number 13 overall pick, versus Zack Martin. What do you like about this one?
Well, first of all, I'm surprised that they were able to get a uniform big enough for Jordan Davis to fit. Looks like it actually fits. Zack Martin is a 5-time first-team All-Pro right guard. He's the standard, the gold standard in this league. So Jordan Davis coming in, some question marks. Does he have pass rush to him? Well, he's going to see the league's best twice a year in Zack Martin. What's he got in the arsenal right now? What's he learning? Because it's more than a 40 time, and it's more than size to beat a man like Zack Martin.
Amen.
So I think he's got a lot to learn in order to beat him.
Hey, listen, I played a lot of great offensive linemen in my career. That guy is at the top of the list. And he's been going against another Hall of Fame player in Fletcher Cox. So he's seasoned. Hey, Jordan, you got your work cut out for you.
Yeah. Zack Martin makes nothing
That's
but
true.
first team all-pro teams, gets hurt, injured his calf, comes back in 2021, right back to first team all-pro. Thank you, Gerald. You're next up here in the NFC South, where you dominated for years and years. This time, it's going to be Cam Jordan against your old team, Tristan Wirfs.
Now, we had a discussion.
This is going to be an interesting one, too. I'm just, you know, it's silly season. Let's watch the whole clip.
Okay? I hear you. If the Saints are going to overtake this division, they're going to have to get after the quarterback. Their best defender, an all-decade player, 100 sack guy, Cam Jordan. The best offensive lineman for the Buccaneers, Tristan Wirfs. Yeah. He's an all-pro. He's an all-pro. It's going to be a battle. And Tristan Wirfs sack given up last year, Cam Jordan.
Cam Jordan got him last year.
Yes,
got him on a need the power move.
Yes, he did.
Got to Tom Brady in one of those Saint wins against the Bucs.
I'm excited to see it.
It wasn't too often that Wirfs was beat.
Oh, no.
Cam Jordan, one of the few players to actually do it. Okay, we're going to finish now going from the NFC South to the AFC South. This time it's the Jags and the Colts. Brandon Sheriff versus the aforementioned DeForest Buckner.
You see that beard that Brandon Sheriff?
First off, look at this picture.
That's a world-class beard.
Look at this picture.
Like, he's the sheriff, all right? The sheriff is now going to the AFC South. But DeForest Buckner has been a gold standard at that 3 technique. He's a big old guy that has a lot of ability right there. These two are going to lock up twice a year. And, you know, right now, Brandon Sheriff's job, protect that young quarterback down there in Jacksonville. Show him the way to do it. You got to be able to stop this man first. Inside in the trenches, that's going to be more fun than watching and talking about the quarterbacks.
DeForest has been a stud his entire career in the NFL. Now he has Unique Ngakoue, Stephon Gilmore to help him there on defense. Look out. Those Indianapolis Colts are coming, MJ.
All right. Thanks, Omar. And what a summer treat on this summer.
All right. What matchup do you look forward to the most this year? I definitely want to see Jordan Davis going against Zack Martin. That's going to be definitely one to watch. Now, for the Cowboys, you know, right now, I'm just hoping that we don't have any missteps, that we don't have any Las Vegas situations where, you know, guys get in trouble. I'm hoping that the team, the guys, the players are all there, you know, just being cool, enjoying themselves and enjoying getting ready for this grind of this season, but being focused in on one thing and one thing only, and that's to make a run for the Super Bowl. The Cowboys have their work cut out for them. We know that it's been almost 20 years since anybody has repeated in the NFC East. But with a healthy Dak Prescott, and I believe that Dak Prescott, it's definitely laser focused on a couple of things. One, being a Super Bowl champion, and two, being the NFL Man of the Year. That with him being healthy this offseason, that's a game changer for the offense. People don't seem to realize or don't take into account how he was literally, you know, could have had his own mass unit between the left shoulder that he had shoulder on, his non-throwing one, to the right shoulder that was overworked going into training camp, dealing with coming back from the ankle injury, dealing with the calf injury. And I know the Dak Prescott haters are going to say, you're making excuses. Well, if I'm making excuses for a guy who had 37 touchdown passes, 4,040-some yards, if I am correct, and he did that with those injuries, with an offensive line that was very porous, without a running game, then if we have actually improved the offensive line, getting rid of Connor Williams, who to me is a liability between him being able to be lifted up by some of the bigger tackles and the penalties, and replacing him with a young, strong, mean, nasty offensive lineman, and a Lyle Collins who probably would only be able to start at guard if he had returned because Terrence Steele was better. I believe the offensive line will be better. And knowing that both of my running backs are going to be healthy, between Zeke Elliott playing, let's be clear, 13 games with a torn PCL, and Tony Pollard playing with a torn plantar fasciitis. With those guys healthy, the offensive line better, and the fact that Dak Prescott actually has an offseason for the first time to truly work out with CeeDee Lamb, I believe they've only scratched the surface. Now, a lot of people will go out there and say, is CeeDee Lamb really a number one? Well, we're going to find out. We're going to find out. But I think that you're going to see the Dallas Cowboys offense take a whole nother step. And you will see Dak Prescott taking more and more of the Dallas Cowboys records, individual records. And before it's all said and done, I'm betting you that Dak Prescott will own pretty much every record, maybe not Super Bowls wins, but will own every passing record that the Dallas Cowboys have. So with that being said, I've got work to do in the workshop because I got things to get out to you guys. I want to say I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I haven't had a chance to really read all the comments. I still need to figure out where to put Stewart. And this weekend, come Sunday, we will be at the Chantilly CSA show. Micah Parsons is going to be there. DeMarcus Ware is going to be there. I've got to look at the whole menu. And, of course, Jobu and Jobu Sports will be there as well. I'm a little bit disappointed because something new happened the last time we were there. With CeeDee Lamb, CeeDee Lamb will only sign NFL licensed merchandise. So I have forever made jerseys for Jobu that I used to get signed by the players, or Jobu shirts that I've gotten signed by players and given them away. You can't do that. And what I really wanted to do with Micah Parsons, because this is going full circle, Stewart said many, many times that he wanted me to have this autographed helmet from Mike that's been autographed by Micah Parsons, and to have it on the desk and things so that way it can be seen, that he would always be able to see it. I want to take it to him, and I want to tell him the story about Stewart, as well as tell him that Stewart's wish was the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, and maybe that becomes their battle cry. But what I also wanted to do was I wanted to get the print that I have, Hurts So Good, signed by him to give away, and to take one of the shirts that we had made up with Jobu's day job with the wings and get that signed and give it away as well. But unfortunately, Micah Parsons has the same, agent that has to be authentic merchandise only that he'll sign. So we'll have to figure out something else for him to sign, and or maybe I take a picture with him with it. Maybe he'll hold it for me or something. I don't know. But we'll see what we can do with that. But we will be there on Sunday. So if you have some time and want to come down and stuff like that and hang out, there's always tons and tons of Cowboy fans that are there. I would love to meet you, love to talk about you, talk with you, and you definitely get you on camera. So with that being said, you know what time it is. It's time for me to roll out here and get to my other job.
Our coach here, as always, I want to thank you all for watching.
Sorry, didn't mean to blow your eardrums out.